Hi guys, and welcome to the Wyfe Up YouTube channel. Welcome to the Wyfe Up movement. I'm about to start the podcast, so let's go. Hello, and welcome to the Wyfe Up podcast. Welcome to the Wyfe Up movement. Welcome to the Wyfe Up YouTube channel as well. I am so grateful that you guys are here with me today. I want to know how everybody is doing. I wish you guys would leave me some comments. That would be amazing. Tell me who you are and where you're listening in from, because I just found out that I have listeners in Canada now, and I'm just so almost like overwhelmed just with joy of how God is moving this movement along. And I'm just so grateful for each and every one of you. If you can tell by my backdrop, here I am in San Diego. If you listen to my last podcast, my husband joined me on that podcast / YouTube video, and he asked me at the end of the video, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I said, "What I want, I can't have." He said, "What is it?" I said, "I want to wake up in San Diego, listening to the oceans, the crashing of the waves in the ocean." And here I am. My birthday was 2 days ago, and hubby was so amazing to make this happen for me. So I'm just so grateful to him. So hubby, if you are listening, if you happen to watch this video, he usually does watch my videos. So I just wanted to say that I love you very much, and I totally appreciate you for letting me be able to come out here and create. Like, this is my... I can't even tell you guys how happy I am. So anyway, today's topic is called Wyfeprenuer. Okay, we're going to get into that. I always like to start with a little bit of a prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for each and every woman, each and every wife, each and every person that is listening to the Wyfe Up podcast or watching the Wyfe Up YouTube video on the YouTube channel. I'm so grateful for each and every life, for each and every wife, God. I'm so grateful for each and every marriage, Lord. I thank you for this movement being birthed in this season. And I thank you for giving me the idea to do this and letting me have such a passion for wives and a passion for marriages. And I just thank you that you're using me as a vessel. And I pray for each and every wife, each and every marriage that is out there, God, that it can be repaired, restored, renewed, revived, resurrected, everything, God, because you are that God that can do anything. Nothing is impossible for you. So I love you, honor you, and praise you. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. We pray. Amen. All right, guys. So the title is Wyfeprenuer, but really the title is going to be Entrepreneur versus Wyfepreneur. So as you guys know or have realized, just in this season alone, entrepreneurship is hot. Like, it is a hot topic. People are starting their own businesses. People are doing things that they've always dreamt of doing. That's what this COVID season has done for a lot of people, because one, people are looking at life and saying life is too short and I need to do this thing that's been on my heart. And number two, people have a lot more time on their hands. So it's just like, you know what, let me kind of do what it is that I've been wanting to do. And I'll be honest, that's how Wyfe Up wasn't born. It was I guess it was born, but it wasn't created at that time, right? I had thought about it a while prior, kept saying I was going to start the podcast. And when this season hit, it was just like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And God placed the right people in my life to help push me towards doing this. And now it's probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. The women that have come forth and just said, thank you for doing this podcast. Thank you for pouring into us. Thank you for making us want to believe more in our marriages and dream more for our marriages. And that just means the world to me. And so I just wanted to touch upon that again, because we're talking about Wyfepreneurs today. And so I've heard the statement, first let me identify and define what entrepreneur says. It says, according to Investopedia.com, an entrepreneur is an individual who creates a new business, bearing most of the risk and enjoying most of the rewards. The entrepreneur is commonly seen as an innovator, a source of new ideas, goods, services, and business or procedures. It's a great definition. I would definitely agree with that. All right. Now, I have seen the words mompreneur, womanpreneur, wyfepreneur. Those all tap into women becoming entrepreneurs, women who dream of working for themselves and becoming their own bosses. And that got me to thinking, what if we wives became wyfepreneurs? And I don't mean wife, W-I-F-E, I mean wife, W-Y-F-E, right? Wives yoked for entirety. And we use some of the same principles and the same abilities that make entrepreneurs successful in their businesses and apply those same abilities to our marriages. Now, I know you might be thinking a marriage is not a business. From a business standpoint, you're right. Maybe you won't be seeing your marriage trading on the NASDAQ, right? But your marriage, in fact, is a business. It's your business. It's a part of who you are. It's a part of your own personal brand. Not a business brand, but you, the brand of you. And should be a priority when you said I do. In order for any entrepreneur to be successful, they must have certain abilities. Those same abilities carry over for wyfepreneurs, for us. Here's a list of some of those abilities that I can think of. Number one, the ability to communicate. Entrepreneurs must have great communication skills. They have to communicate with customers, employees, bankers, creditors, investors, etc. For us, wyfepreneurs, we must have great communication skills as well. Unfortunately, many of us learn to communicate through watching our parents or others that were close to us. Many of us did not have the best examples, nor have we set the best examples for our kids. The truth is, if you can't communicate with your husband, your marriage is in trouble. You have to have the ability to not only effectively communicate for yourself, but you have to understand your husband's way of communicating as well. You have to be able to identify how he communicates. This will save you a lot of anguish in the long run. Not to say you won't bump heads. That's not what I'm saying. It just means that you'll know how to communicate with him better. Now, I'm not an expert on this, on different types of communicators, but when looking this up, I found there were many. Some examples are aggressive communicators, passive communicators, passive-aggressive communicators, assertive communicators. So I'm just going to use those four, should I say. So let's briefly define those. I'm going to define them in terms of, say, your husband, if this was his type of personality or his type of communication skills. A passive husband doesn't typically communicate what he wants. He doesn't like conflict, just wants to keep the peace. He just goes with the flow most of the time. That trait can be hard to deal with if you're a person that wants to talk about everything, and they don't. If you know this is how he is, then find the balance. You have to learn to discern what's really important and if it's worth an argument, which could potentially happen, or just a discussion. But you have to decide whether or not it's worth even going down that road. Or as a friend of mine said, she was talking to someone and they asked her, are you willing to die on this hill? You have to make that assessment, because you know that if you are not passive and you're aggressive or assertive, and the two of y'all are bumping heads because he never wants to talk, but you always want to talk, you got to learn to find that balance, right? It's not worth dying on the hill for. It really isn't. All right. So 2, aggressive husband has no problem expressing their wants, needs, and opinions, sometimes yelling, pointing the finger, and being accusatory. Aggressive husbands can tend to hurt their wives' feelings because they seemingly don't care as long as they make their point. Being married to an aggressive husband myself, I have learned that this is a part of who he is and how he communicates. Doesn't make it right all the time. Not giving him a pass, just willing to understand him better. If this is you, pray about it. Pray about him. Pray about your marriage. Pray about your communication between you. Also, you will have to learn to not take everything to heart. Woo, when I learned that, it was so freeing. So if he gets upset, in other words, if my husband is just like, right? Before, I would get upset. And then I would, and we both be like, going back and forth with each other. Those things don't bother me so much anymore. I'm more concerned as to why he's doing, I just want to know, okay, what is going on, right? That's not to say I don't get my flesh. It doesn't mean that if he says something, I'm not going to be ready on the ready. Like, what did you say? You know, but I've learned, like, hey, I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight. And I'm not talking about being passive. I'm talking about picking my battles. Okay. And sometimes it's just not worth it. You can talk about things in another way. There's ways to go around, ways to do it. You'll learn, like, over the years, you'll learn. You arguing back with him at that level won't make him see your point any clearer. And they tend to see things better once they've calmed down. I've learned that. Okay, 3, passive-aggressive husband can appear to be okay with something, but will make underhanded, subtle, or sarcastic remarks about the situation, letting you know that he is not okay with the situation. Not quite passive, not quite aggressive, right in between, or mixture of the two. Their feelings will be made known, though. It can look like arms folded, an attitude, slammed doors, etc. A wife should be able to learn very clearly how her passive-aggressive husband communicates. It's his way of communicating. Pray for him. Pray for yourself. Pray for your marriage. Pray for the way that you guys can communicate better. Ask God to show you how to communicate with him better. And I know in the meantime, you'll be like, God, I need you to change him. But also ask God, how can you change? Just want to throw that out there. And last is assertive husband. He will communicate what he wants, but in a respectful and clear way. He can be concise, clear, and calm, right? He'll let you know how he's feeling and not get into an argument about it for the most part. I believe wives can mistake this way of communicating with aggressive, depending on how she communicates. Either way, if your husband is the type to make his feelings known, please listen to him. Don't be offended. And really hear what he has to say. I know it's very easy for us to get in our feelings and not hear, and not really listen to what he has to say and not really hear him when he's saying it. And sometimes you just got to be like, let me just listen to this man for a second and not be up in my feelings and hear what he's saying, because clearly he's hurt. Clearly he's upset. Clearly he's mad about something, maybe something I did, or maybe not. What can I do so this doesn't happen again? Let me listen. What's bothering him, right? You got to step outside of your feelings a lot as a wife, as a wifepreneur, right? Okay, so another ability is the ability to stay focused. Having your own business can come with distractions and setbacks. Sometimes it's hard for an entrepreneur to stay focused on the mission when life is throwing curveballs at them. Okay, for a wifepreneur, the ability to be and stay focused, right? Having a successful marriage can come with distractions and setbacks. Please understand that the enemy will send distractions your way. It can take on many forms, such as other women or other men to you, addictions like porn, etc., offenses, insecurities, illnesses, deceit, etc. Sometimes it's hard to stay focused on the mission of having an amazing marriage when life is throwing curveballs at you. You have to see the bigger picture and what your goals are, so that when distractions come your way, you know that and how to categorize it as just that, a distraction. Okay. I think this is the third ability, is to wear many hats. When you become an entrepreneur, you might not have the money to pay people to help you run your business, which means that you have to do most things yourself, which means that you wear many hats. Well, in a marriage and as a wifepreneur, you also will wear many hats. Those hats include you being your husband's best friend, confidant, lover, accountant, personal chef, driver at times, counselor, place of rest, his pillow, his personal cheerleader, his personal assistant, his muscle, his advisor, his representative, and the list goes on. You are an extension of him, and the hats will change up a bit over the course of your marriage, dependent on his needs. Okay, another ability is the ability to totally believe in your business for an entrepreneur. No one is going to believe in your business more than you do. You have to be your own biggest cheerleader. Well, For a wifepreneur, the ability to totally believe in your marriage. No one is going to believe in your marriage more than you do. No one is going to fight for your marriage more than you. No one. You have to be your own biggest cheerleader. No one is rooting for your marriage like you should be. No one should want it more than you. Be clear. And I've said this in other videos. The enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy your marriage. And if you stop believing in your marriage, he knows it and will seek to further tear you and your husband apart. Be diligent. Be awake. I know we live in a society where they like to use that word woke, right? We live in, I'm woke, and the two sides are saying they're woke and calling each other sheep, all this type of stuff, right? I don't get into all of that. I'm just going to get into this. Be woke about your marriage. Be diligent about your marriage, about your husband. Be woke about him. All right? Because the enemy will try and pull you away from him. Will try and get you guys separated. And again, if he can get you divorced, he won. He'd be like, got him. Okay, so another ability for an entrepreneur is the ability to be persistent and dedicated. As an entrepreneur, if you were an entrepreneur, have to fight for your business at all times, especially through the tough times. Persistence is enduring over a prolonged period. For a wifepreneur, the ability to be persistent and dedicated. For you, have to be persistent for your marriage at all times, especially through the tough times. Persistence is enduring over a prolonged period. Endurance comes from the Lord. Oh, Jesus. Marriage should never be done alone. Jesus should stay in the center of your marriage, even if your husband isn't putting Jesus in the center. So when times get tough and you feel like giving up, stay persistent. Turn to the Lord and allow him to give you the strength and direction you never knew before. Okay. Another ability for an entrepreneur is the ability to stay dedicated. You being dedicated to your mission and staying devoted is the key. Successful entrepreneurs tend to be 100% all in their businesses, or had been at one point to make it successful. All right. Wifepreneur, the ability to stay dedicated. You being dedicated to your mission and staying devoted to it is the key. Successful wifepreneurs tend to be 100% all into their marriages and their husbands. These wifepreneurs understand that they are married to the mission of staying married and putting God in the center of their marriages. For those wives, divorce is not an option, and they go the extra mile for their marriages. Is that you? Okay, next ability. The ability to recognize your purpose. What is the purpose of your company? Who does it serve? Why did you start this business? For an entrepreneur. The ability to recognize your purpose for a wifepreneur. What is your mission statement for you and for your husband? Why did you get married? Also, what about your husband? Do you see your husband's purpose over God's purpose over your husband? Are you able to identify his strengths and build on them? Are you able to have grace for his weaknesses? I feel like I need to pause it for a second. Are you able to have grace for his weaknesses? Let me just pause for a second, right? And tell you guys that we are a society that preys on people's weaknesses. We are. I'm going to deviate just a little bit. Lately, just really lately in the news, there's a young lady who put Gorilla Glue in her hair to lay it down, to slick it down. I don't know why she did. And the amount of people that I see online making fun of this young lady, it breaks my heart. And admittedly, when I first saw it, I thought, this is not real. This is a prank. This is a joke. Maybe she just, because people will do a lot to be famous, right? I was like, no, she put the Gorilla hold in her hair, not Gorilla Glue. And until I saw another video of her trying to wash her hair, I saw her I saw where she said she had gone to the ER. This is real. This young woman put Gorilla Glue in her hair and didn't know. Now, while it's easy to laugh, right? It's not funny. I'm praying for her. I'm praying that she finds a solution. I'm praying that that she doesn't permanently destroy her follicles, or, that her hair grows back. And they asked her, what's your biggest fear? And she said, my biggest fear is losing my hair. I'm like, that needs to be let go. They're not gonna comb all that out of her hair. She probably will have to shave her head, and grow her hair back. Hair grows back. But the memes and, Wendy Williams calling her the dumbest woman in America. I'm like, people prey. We live in a society where people prey on other people's weaknesses. And this woman made a mistake. And granted, it might not be a mistake that you made or I made, but I've made some mistakes that honestly, I would do the Gorilla Glue if it meant I could redo that mistake. Right? So, I just want to talk on that. So if you are listening to the sound of my voice, and I just want to say, join me in praying for her. Pray that they find a solution. Pray that, all this backlash on the internet, pray that, she's able to withstand that and come out ahead, and God will give her beauty for ashes, because that's tough. Everybody's laughing at her around the world, and making jokes. And it breaks my heart. She made a mistake, and it's going to live on forever. So hopefully something good can come of it. Anyway, we live in a society where we prey on people's weaknesses, and wives are guilty of that too. I've seen it myself. I've seen wives prey on their husband's weaknesses, laugh about them, laugh to their girlfriends about it. Girl, he's this, that, are you able to build your husband up and not prey on his weakness? Pray for his weaknesses. Okay, the next ability for entrepreneurs is the ability to properly invest your time. You will need to know how to wisely invest your time so that you are not investing it on foolish things that are not IPAs, which is income producing activities, right? For the Wyfepreneur, the ability to properly invest your time. You will need to know how to wisely invest your time so that you are not investing it on foolish things that are not MBAs, marriage building activities. Okay. Another ability is the ability to properly handle finances. As you know, for an entrepreneur, if the finances are not accounted for and expended properly, a business cannot succeed. For a Wyfepreneur, the ability to properly handle finances. As many of you know, if the finances are not properly handled and accounted for, the marriage will struggle. This is one of the top reasons for divorce, guys. Money issues. That's a real thing. If you haven't already encountered it yourself, it happens, and it happens a lot. Okay, another ability is to learn new things. This is imperative because of the way technology is shifting. The old way of doing things for an entrepreneur is becoming obsolete. You as an entrepreneur, or a person as an entrepreneur, will have to learn some new things in order to adapt. They don't have to become an expert, but because if they can afford to pay someone who is an expert, at least they need to know what they're hiring that person for. So entrepreneurs are having to learn new things. They have to. You can't, otherwise you just be like a dinosaur, right? To grow your business, you have to. For the Wyfepreneur, the ability and willingness to learn new things. This is imperative because people and marriages evolve. A Wyfepreneur has to be willing to learn her husband and learn new things to keep her marriage fresh. Okay. Another ability is the ability to strategize. The ability to strategize for an entrepreneur is a must. To plan a strategy for your business to be successful. How are you going to execute the plan and plans of your business? How does an entrepreneur do that? Well, for a Wyfepreneur, the ability to strategize is a must. A Wyfepreneur must have a strategy for her marriage to be successful. If something rears its ugly head, what do you plan on doing about it? The plan should be, again, go to Jesus. Jesus is the strategy. Jesus is the strategy. Next one is ability for entrepreneurs to work with others. Even though, let's say if you were the entrepreneur, you may be your only employee, you will still have to work with other people throughout the growth of your business, right? ability to work for others for a wifepreneur. By others, I mean your husband. Do you have the ability to do life with him as his helpmate? Do you have the ability to not make him your enemy when really the enemy is your enemy? Do you have the ability to work with him, not against him? A wifepreneur will become her husband's top ally in this war against marriages. All right. Another ability is to prioritize. For an entrepreneur, it does not mean that they don't have other responsibilities, but it may mean that in this season, their business gets top priority in order to take it to the next level. The ability to prioritize for a wifepreneur does not mean that you don't have other responsibilities. It means that you make it a point to prioritize your marriage and your husband. Even if there's a season that something else is vying for your attention, you still have to find ways to make him feel special, loved, respected, wanted, and needed. Also, let him know that you are sorry if something else is taking your time away from him. Can I just say that that's the season that I'm in right now, especially even being here. I love the fact that we're here. I just wanted to come here and create and sit and write and, finish up my book and then do my podcast. And, my husband's like, okay, we're going to go out there. We're going to go and hit them waves. And I'm like, I want to do this, and there's a little bit of tension. I'm like, give me till Wednesday. Let me just do what I need to do. And I'll give you Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, please. But, he's like, I want you to come outside today. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. And I'm like, babe, just please, because I'm working on something. And he understands hard work. He's a hard worker himself. So I'm grateful that he is being patient with me, because we are here. The weather is, it's in February. It's still a little chilly out, but it's nice. It's beautiful. If you can look behind me and just see the water and the waves, like it is amazing out here. And I know he just wants to get out there and have fun with his wife, right? So I get it. I completely get it. And so I definitely am going to make it up to him, But I wanted to finish this podcast. I filmed it last night. It didn't come out the way that I wanted it to, so I'm redoing it today. So I didn't get to post yesterday. I post on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I didn't post yesterday, so I apologize about that. But back to being a wifepreneur, and I wanted to touch upon that because we are in this season of, like I said, entrepreneurship and everybody just wanting to work for themselves and be their own boss. And I know there's a whole nother movement, which I do want to do a video about boss chick, boss wife, boss this, boss that. And that's all great for women empowerment. That's all great to be able to get out there and do the damn thing, do the darn thing, right? But my first business is my husband. My first business is him. Even now, even though I'm talking to you guys right now, he's on my mind. He's on the back of my mind, the front of my mind, the side. He's everywhere. I'm looking at. He's right outside the door. And he's such an amazing, incredible husband. I don't think he can hear me, but he will watch this. He's such an incredible husband. I want him to know how much I truly appreciate him and how much I truly love him. And so making him my business is my priority. Like, I don't take that for granted. And I want you guys to also start looking at your husbands as your personal business. And I mean it from that. He is your business. You signed up to be everything that he needs in a helpmate. You signed up for that, right? And I realize that, there's other dreams and aspirations that you may want to do. And God filled you with that dream. And yes, I believe that you should be able to do that, of course, and I'm praying that your husband is there to support you in that. I will say that having your husband as your priority, having your husband treat him like whatever is the most important thing to you in this world, right? And you guys know what the answer is. Some of you are like, that's my children. My children mean more to me than anything in this world, right? Or that might be your job. It might be your dreams and aspirations. There is something that you are looking at as this. When I said what's the most important thing to you, you came to your mind. It wasn't your husband. It wasn't your husband. Okay? And it's time to change that. It's time to change that. Because he is the most important thing. He is. God, him, Y'all's marriage, like he comes after God. That's what you signed up for. So another ability that I forgot was the ability to be flexible. For an entrepreneur, this is a must. You'll have to learn how to adapt to any situation and have alternatives and backups just in case things aren't going in your favor. All right? The ability to be flexible for a wifepreneur is so key. You have to know how to be flexible with your husband's needs and wants. Sometimes that may mean you have to move around your schedule to make sure that he's okay. Sometimes it may mean doing things he loves to do. I don't know who I'm talking to. That's somebody out there. Your husband's been wanting to do some things with you, and you're just like, I'm not doing that. No, I don't want to do that. And it could be something simple, right? It could be something simple, but you guys are like, I don't want to do it, so I'm not going to do it, and that's that. Sometimes that may mean conquering fears to have fun with him. Flexibility means different things to different people. So right now, just speaking for myself, my husband wants to go paragliding. I think that's what it's called. For a person that didn't grow up swimming, that's a big thing. I did learn how to swim a couple years ago though, and I want to do it because I know that's what he really wants to do. There are some things I'm like, he wants to go jet skiing. I really don't want to go jet skiing. I'll be honest, right? Just because I know of someone that had a bad experience with that, who wasn't the best swimmer, and she, I'll just say it didn't go pretty. She was okay, but it's one of those things that it's like, yeah, I don't know. But will I overcome that fear? Possibly. Because I want to have fun with him, right? I was listening to a couple of YouTubers rather. They're called the Max, Makhs. They're African, from South Africa, and I love their channel. And so if you guys are looking for more positive marriage-related content, you can check them out, the Max. And they are, sorry guys, phone was ringing. They are pretty amazing. Like I said, I love their channel. And they were talking about fun. They were talking about, they did they did a video together, and I think it was things that women want men to know or something like that. But anyway, the husband was saying that men just want to have fun. And if their wife is just going to be a nag about it pretty much, then they don't want them around when they have fun. You know, they want to do fun things with you, the wife, but if you are going to be a drag, then it's like, you know what, I'll just do it with some other friends, or I'll just do it by myself. But, you know, ultimately, men want to have fun with their wives. I thought that was really interesting. It was something that I knew. So, you know, flexible. I have to be flexible in that, because I don't want my husband not having fun in life. I don't want him to not have fun because of me. And my husband, I am his best friend. Like, we have other people in our life, not a lot though. Like, I'm his best friend. He's my best friend. So what? It's a natural thing to want to do things with your best friend. It's a natural thing to want to do, hey, you want to go do this? Hey, you want to go do that? We are built to do life with people. So your husband wants to have fun with you. Are you flexible enough to have fun with him? Are you? Or are you a drag? Girl, being a wifepreneur is doing all of those things, is learning your husband and knowing what it is that's going to make his life worth living. Right? You're not as God, so you're not going to fulfill everything, right? Because that only God can do. But I just mean you as a wife. Like, he should be able to turn to you and be like, babe, let's go do this. And, you know, you not always be like, no. That's a drag. That's a drag. I'm going to say it. So if that was you, because I can raise my hand. I feel like God let me have this podcast because I can raise my hand to so many. I'm talking from experience. I broke my nail. I'm talking from experience. You know, being raised in a household where my father said no to everything, I found that I was saying no to a lot of things too. And I feel like God was like, but why? Like, how are you going to pray and ask God to, you know, for safety, and then you're not willing to try some things? I mean, within reason, right? And my husband's not a daredevil. He's not I won't say devil. He's not he just likes to have fun. He doesn't do crazy off the wall things, right? He just wants to have fun with his wife. So I want to have fun with him. I don't want to be the person that that stops him from having fun or send him off with other people. Go have fun with other people. I don't want to do Guess who's going to be flexible and learn how to be fun? This one. That's why. Now, my husband looks at me the way that he does. That's why, right? Men, so there's a tip. Men want to have fun. They're like little boys inside. I'm not calling a man a little boy. Be clear what I'm saying. Don't misconstrue. They still have that inside. Just like you still have things like, you know, that tickle you like if you were a little girl. There's still things that boys like to do as men. Men like to do that they like to do as boys. They like to have fun. They like to be adventurous. They like to try new things. That does not change. Right? That doesn't change. There's this thing that people are posting, boy life, boy mom, right? Because you have sons, there's some things that you can expect. Broken arms, broken limbs, should I say, things that they jump off of, flip off of, things that they do. Boys. I have 3 sons. I completely understand. My point is, boys are boys. And just because a boy grows into a man doesn't mean that he doesn't want to still have fun, that he doesn't want to be adventurous. I feel like I'm still on this because I'm talking to somebody. There's somebody out there that is listening that knows that that's you. Put on learn to be flexible, put on your fun pants, and just say, okay, I'm going to be fun with my husband. Surprise him. You can't just be the nag. Like, first of all, you shouldn't be a nag at all. You need to wife up with that. But you can't just be the person that doesn't want to have fun all the time, because he's not going to want to come home to you. He's not. What's the fun in that? Oh, I got to go home because she's my wife. Then you become the old ball and chain. You don't want to do that. Okay? So I don't want to go too far on that topic, but you get what I'm saying, right? So, Wyfeprenuer. We are all Wyfepreneurs. We all are. And we have a job to do. And like I said, I thought of doing this because I know that there are a lot of wives out here that are, you know, wanting to be this boss chick, this boss chick, boss babe, boss bee, you know, lady boss, or just be about her business. And I just want to say, your husband is your first business. That is your first priority. You know, make sure that's 100% also, you know, before you kind of start venturing on some other things. Because sometimes when that's not taken care of and a woman starts doing her own thing, right, and starts drifting away from the marriage and God being in the center of her marriage or the cornerstone, then there's problems in the marriage. There ends up being problems because she's not the same as she was before. You want to tighten that up so that way when you do start to have your own thing or start doing your own business or whatever it is that God has called you to do, right? Your first business is already sold up. It's already taken care of. So anyway, guys, that was what I wanted to talk about today. And I hope I get to do another message for tomorrow. He's calling me. He wants to go outside and play with his wife and kids. So have a great rest of you guys' day. And I love being here. This is one of my favorite things to do. So I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Bye for now.